Coming to you straight from Fremont, California, this is the Fremont Podcast, dedicated to telling the stories of the past and present of the people and places of the city of Fremont, one conversation at a time. Now, here's your host, Ricky B.
Hello, Fremont. You're listening to episode number 36. Thank you so much for joining me each week to be a part of the podcast, to be involved in the conversation. I hope that if you have not listened to all the episodes, that you'd go back and try to find some of the ones that you have yet to listen to. And if any of them stand out to you, that you'd share them with a friend. Share it on your social media so that other people can take advantage of being a part of the conversation. Recently, the last few weeks, or actually the last week, I have had some amazing conversations that will come up in future episodes. And it's been really exciting to hear all the different things about the different people that are in our community. This week, I'm excited to share with you a conversation that I had with a couple who have committed themselves to making the community a better place through the art of calligraphy. That conversation is coming up. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Gary Williams here. Some friends of mine are making a difference in the community, and one of the ways they're doing that is helping to sponsor this podcast. Petroselli Homes Realty Group is a boutique brokerage service located in downtown Niles. John and Jennifer Petroselli have had the honor of helping countless buyers and sellers make effective real estate decisions to plant their roots, raise their families, expand their wealth, or simply relax and retire. So if what I've described is what you might be looking for in a realtor, I suggest getting in touch with Petroselli Homes on Niles Boulevard in downtown Niles.
Before we jump into our conversation this week, which I know you're going to love, I want to tell you about some conversations that I had just this last weekend. When I was at the Dale Hardware Milwaukee Tool Destination Station grand opening, I was able to chat with some customers as they were leaving the store. And I would like to share some of those conversations with you over the course of the next few weeks. So before we have our featured conversation this week with Flores Designs, here's a conversation that I had with a Dale Hardware customer.
I love.
Yes, you live in Fremont?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what part of Fremont do you live in?
Ardenwood area.
Okay, and how long have you lived there?
15 years.
Okay, and you really like it?
I love it.
What's one of your favorite things about living in Fremont?
Neighborhood, good schools.
Yeah?
I love the culture here.
Okay.
And enjoying the food.
Are you a regular shopper in Dale Hardware?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any projects that you've worked on in the past that have been really helpful to come here?
Yeah, on my gardening projects, bathroom renovation. Yeah,
okay.
Those are some things which Dale has really been helpful for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me for a minute.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, well, I'm back today, and I am really excited. I have a husband and wife couple joining me today. We're recording at Devout, which is, for people who follow, they know that I do a lot of work here. So if you hear coffee beans spilling in the back, that's because all those beautiful bags of beans are being packaged right now. So, but I have with me Carissa and Adam. Good to have you guys with me.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, great to be here.
That's cool. Well, I found you guys on Instagram. I can't remember when I started following your Instagram, and it's Dos Flores Calligraphy or Designs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I want to hear more about your business, and that's partly why I have you on here, but that's how I found you. But we'll talk about that in a minute. First of all, I want to get to know you guys a little bit better.
Sure.
So Carissa and Adam, how long have you lived in Fremont? And tell me, start there. How long have you lived in Fremont?
Yeah, so our story starts with me. I've lived in Fremont for 5 years. I moved here for a teaching job. And then I brought Adam here when we got married.
Okay. So the teaching, where did you move from? Were you?
So I grew up in San Diego, but I moved to Fremont from Virginia. I was going to school out there and applied for, my family lives in Utah, so I applied for jobs all up and down the West Coast so I could be back closer to them. And I had never heard of Fremont. I told everyone when I left Virginia, I said, yeah, I'm moving to San Francisco. And everyone thought it was so cool and city. I had never heard of Fremont and moved here almost exactly 5 years ago for the school year.
Wow.
And
what do you teach?
High school English.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the calligraphy business, I guess that helps. Maybe your English students also have to mind their penmanship as well, I would imagine.
It's related. There's a lot of overlap between the beauty of words in English class and the beauty of words in calligraphy. It's nice. All of it excites me.
Do you ever teach calligraphy in the class as like part of the English curriculum?
I haven't yet, but my students will make something for me with their like calligraphy skills, and I'm always delighted when I get a card with my name in calligraphy.
All right, that's awesome. So, Chris, it started with you. Adam, when did you move to Fremont?
I moved here for love. I moved here for Carissa. Right after we got,
and that's a wrap.
Right after we got married.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm a Bay Area native. I grew up in San Jose.
Okay.
And honestly, cannot think of a single time that I was in Fremont before I got married.
Really? So you lived in San Jose all your life, and you can't remember ever being in Fremont?
I don't think so. It was just one of those places that you drove by on 880.
Did you come here for our first date the first time?
Yeah, so when was the first date? Well, tell me, I have to hear about the first date.
Absolutely. And it's very convenient, and we're excited to share this because our first date was here at Devout Coffee.
Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. What in the world?
Probably at one of these tables that we're sitting at.
That's so awesome. Okay, so tell me about it. How did you guys then meet, and how was this your first date?
Wow. We met online.
Okay.
And it for both of us, thankfully, it was surprisingly quick. Didn't have to do a lot of digging on the app, and we met for, and everyone thinks this is the crazy part, but we met for an 8 a.m. coffee date on a Saturday morning.
Wow. And Devout opens at 8 on Saturdays, so that's...
Actually, I did not know that. At the crack of dawn, there we were.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you met here for your first date, and then how long after that you guys got married? How long after that?
A little over a year later.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, we met in May, right? May of 2018. May of 2018.
Wow, that is really cool. So now are you more familiar with Fremont then?
Yes, and honestly and truly love it, especially coming from the big wide world of San Jose.
Yeah,
Fremont is. It feels really tightly knit. It feels like a smaller community, and
that's cool.
There's people and places that overlap so well in our life already, and that's what Fremont brings, and I love it.
So, besides the more tightly knit community, is there anything specific that stands out to you as being unique and maybe uniquely special in a positive way about Fremont that's different than your experience in San Jose? It's a tough one. I didn't send you that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. As uniquely positive, again, I think that there's, here in Fremont, the community overlaps a lot.
Okay.
Whether it's, small business or school life or, just things like that, we always run into the same people.
Right.
And especially, we work at Fremont Christian School.
Okay.
And that's been around for forever. Mm-hmm. And so oftentimes that alone, say mentioning where we work, tells people, my kid went there, my nephew went there. Oh, my dad graduated from there.
Okay.
He's on the wall of fame in the gym. And it just connects people.
Okay.
It's a quick connection, and I love that.
That's awesome. So Adam, what do you do? What do you do for work then? Are you also a teacher, or what do you do?
I was a teacher. I taught sixth grade for the past 3 years, and through the pandemic. And this year, I'm trying something new. I'm working as a voice actor this year.
Wow, that's awesome. Very, very cool. So you went from teaching sixth graders, which I'm sure you hear a lot of different types of voices in the sixth grade classroom, to wanting to pursue voice acting. So what would your dream job be as a voice actor? Like, is there something that, or maybe there's a movie or something that's already been done that you're like, this inspired me, or what,
I mean, I grew up, I'm part of the generation of kids that grew up watching all the animated Disney classics.
Yeah.
And so, character voices and animation, is really exciting and fun to me. And that's what I would love to do. And I've also done some announcing for our school, did some sports casting.
Nice.
And that's also been really fun because that grounds you with the students as well.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait for you to meet Gary Williams, who you just heard at the beginning of the podcast.
That's right.
Sounds like he'd be someone that you'd enjoy talking with.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to make sure that you connect. So voice actor, teaching, but then now together, you guys have started a business, Dos Flores Designs.
That's right.
So what is this, and when did this start?
Yeah. So it started a long time ago. Before we met, I had been doing calligraphy just as a hobby, as a way to relax. My aunt gave me a kit for calligraphy right out of high school, so 12 plus years ago, and it was that older style of calligraphy that you see in like medieval writing, the kind of angular, really formal looking. And I tried it, and I thought, this is so fun and so cool to create shapes out of this ink, and the ink flows out of the pen. It's so fun. And so then I went online to like find more tools and learn more about it, and I found all these different ways that you can use calligraphy for all kinds of things. You can put it on things, you can create things. And so I practiced it for years and years. And then when we got engaged, I thought, I want to address the envelopes. I want to make signs. I want to make all kinds of our program for our wedding. I did all kinds of little things for that. Had so much fun with it. Was so excited anytime I got to bust out my tools. And then after the wedding,
so how long ago was this? How long did you how long ago did you get into like the beginning of all this?
The very beginning, at least 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and just practicing it as a side hobby for at least 9-10 years.
Wow.
And so
that's cool.
When we were dating, in Chris's house was decorated with all kinds of little, they were just small scraps of paper, thumbtacked to the wall and taped to the wall of just little inscriptions, a song quote or a poem or a phrase. And so even before we started the business, Carissa's calligraphy was everywhere.
That's awesome. So please tell me that when you guys were dating, like all of her notes that were written to you were all done in calligraphy,
Oh my gosh.
or maybe that's not.
Did I? I don't know that I did. That would have been really romantic.
Yeah,
of me to write you a letter.
Did not get any calligraphy love notes.
You still haven't.
I still haven't.
Did you at
but,
least save the text messages?
Yeah.
Yes, those exist.
The initial
Okay.
dating app messages, those
good.
are a treasure.
Okay, good. Yeah. That's awesome. So from the beginning of your relationship, it was just a big part of her life, and it was very clear that this is something that she loved.
Yeah, and I remember thinking to myself, man, there's a lot of scripty things around here, and was impressed to learn that they were all from her, that she had made them herself.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Is there something about calligraphy? I know I kind of teased about teaching English and expecting, there to be a focus. And you mentioned something actually really cool, that that there is kind of a correlation between the way things are written, the beauty of the way something is written, or the way that something is, a piece of literature that you might study, and then also the way it's written, as in like its form. So is there something about calligraphy for you that has been significant? Has it impacted you in a way in your own life, the way that you view life, the way that you view the way communication, or just the way you see things? Is that a reality for you, or what's that feel like or look like? Yeah,
in kind of on a couple different levels. First of all, when you're doing calligraphy, it can't be done quickly. You have to write slowly. And, it's kind of opposite from what we think of with cursive that we were taught in school, where your goal is to write the whole word really fast. In calligraphy, you're doing every stroke intentionally and slowly and shaping it. And just by nature, that makes you stop and slow down and think about every word that you're writing. And so when I'm writing something in calligraphy, it takes on another layer of meaning just because I've had to slow down and think about it. And then it also, I'll do calligraphy on place cards, or address an envelope to someone, or write a card with fun designs on it. And I think that has an added layer of connecting people too. There's a huge difference between something you write in an email and something you write by hand, and what it means to receive that. And so when someone sees something like their name in calligraphy, it's a really special way to show, I thought about you. I wrote your name by hand and really put intention into it. So
that's awesome.
There's a lot there.
That's really cool. Is there something, Adam, for you that has been special in helping start the business? Like, you guys are doing this together. It's a business endeavor that, you guys are coming together to do. What is it that you see as a vision for your part of the business, or what is it that you hope to see come out of this?
Yeah. So I love to be involved and support this dream through. When we sat down, we actually came up with the idea for our business. We were having I don't think it was an anniversary breakfast, but it was something special. We were sitting down for breakfast after we got married, and we were at Bill's Cafe here in Fremont. And
love Bill's.
Love Bill's.
We love Bill's.
We always. And
that's like been. I'm sorry, this is completely. don't lose your train of thought. But Bill's has been like for my wife's birthday, or for like Mother's Day or whatever. It's just like that's where we go. It's like almost unexpected. Oh, we might not go for the whole year, and then we get to Mother's Day, and it's like, so we're going to Bill's today, and so it's pretty cool. Anyway, sorry. So
no, and so. I can't do calligraphy. That's not. Carissa wants me to take one of her classes with her, and I haven't yet. But
someday,
it's something that I'm happy and content to leave in her hands. And in the meantime, though, I love supporting in this role, and love supporting in this business, and especially when we work on bigger projects, whether that's a wedding sign, or we've done huge wedding mirror seating charts that are 6 feet tall and many, many pounds.
And very too heavy for me.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just good to support and to be there, and to be the muscle, and to be the the delivery boy sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really important, though. I mean, so I launched out back in January and started the podcast. And I've told a little bit about my story of doing the podcast on other episodes. And there was, I had an article in the Tri-City Voice that was written, I got interviewed about why I started the podcast. But I say that to say, it's only been around now for about 6-7 months, about 6 months. In my head, it existed before that, but when it finally got out and about, then, it's only been like 6 months. But I guess what I'm saying is that along the journey of building and growing this podcast, I've actually had people come alongside of me and kind of like encourage me, and then actually carry some of the weight of certain elements of the podcast. Let me do this for you. Can I help you with this? Whatever you need. And I'll tell you what, that is huge. And in some sense, this has been my vision. And it's hard to sometimes collaborate with other people when they don't necessarily see things exactly the way you do. But we have people come along like you do, Adam, and just to be able to say, I see what you're doing. I love it. I want you to succeed, and I'm here for whatever I can do to help. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And I think I can sometimes sell myself short a little bit, but I do a little bit of woodworking. I've created signs for Carissa to put her calligraphy on.
Nice.
During the pandemic, we did a lot of e-commerce on Etsy. We sold a lot of vinyl signs and decals of Carissa's calligraphy.
Nice.
Shipped all over the United States. And so I was the chief vinyl officer. I made all the signs and packaged them all.
That's great.
And I'm missing something there.
That's cool. So actually this leads me to ask this question, because what is your business exactly? Because
great question.
So like when I see it on Instagram, I saw calligraphy immediately. And then what I see mostly, like when I see your name pop up on Instagram, I think of calligraphy classes. That's what I think of. That's what I see the most of. So I know you do that at least, but I'm also hearing Etsy. I'm also hearing a lot of other things. What is the business? Like, what is it that, if you were to break it down the way it is right now, what do you spend the most of the time doing? And maybe what is it that you hope to be, and how do you want it to develop?
Yeah, that is, you're right. That it's taken a lot of shapes because we got married in 2019,
right.
And then we kind of started angling towards putting calligraphy on things other than stuff for our wedding at the beginning of 2020, and thought, wedding season's coming up in 2020 and we'll really hit the ground running. And of course, wedding season 2020 didn't happen. And so we were kind of forced to pivot from where we thought we would be going with this business. And so, like Adam said, it was forced online, and I did little things, gift tags, things that you could mail. But in its current form, we have the arm of the business, if you will, that we do calligraphy classes locally in fun venues. And then we also do wedding and event signage and signage for businesses. So weddings, welcome signs, seating charts, place cards, those pieces that are personal to a wedding that are so much more special when done by hand. Yeah.
Are most of those clients in the Bay Area, or do you guys do stuff outside the Bay Area as well?
Almost always in the Bay Area, and especially we have now kind of accumulated a fleet of things that we rent out, mirrors and acrylic and bigger pieces that we deliver, and so that's all has been local and around the Bay Area.
Bay Area grown.
Yeah.
That is really cool. So do you spend most of your time at this point on the classes, or are you still producing stuff that you have on hand, or, I mean, how much, where's most of your time being spent?
That's a good question. It's shifting recently. The classes we just started this year through a company called Sip and Script that is nationwide. And those have started to take a little bit more of our time, but I would say right now 50-50. And kind of weekdays and weekends. Weekdays we do classes in the evenings, and weekends we bring and deliver and pick up signage around the Bay Area. And in the daytime we do our regular jobs.
Yeah, and it's I think that this year especially we really saw kind of the ebb and flow of it as spring going into summer. Wedding season, our wedding rentals were wrapping up, and as they're kind of entering into the fall and kind of the wedding off season, we get to do more classes.
Yeah. Have you guys? This is not completely random, but it's kind of like off topic. But have you guys connected like with any bridal boutiques or anything around here? Like, I know Weddings and Dreams. I just did an interview with them on an earlier podcast, and they've got a really cool shop. They've been working really hard. Maybe have you connected with any boutiques or anything like that? Collaborated with any other local venues like that?
Fun fact: that's where Carissa got her wedding dress.
What?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. I think you said that on Instagram.
Yeah.
When I posted the interview, you said, "Oh, I remember that now." Okay, yeah.
Beautiful wedding dress. Huge fan.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and locally in Fremont, we haven't made a ton of connections with bridal specific places. The bridal part has only picked up in the last year or so with the wedding season. Yeah. But around the Bay Area, we have some good friends that do weddings.
Yeah, just around the corner, Heavenly Nest boutique,
right on the other side of that wall.
Yeah, that's right. Is it really?
Yeah.
We did some chalkboard signs for them, some welcome signs, and some things like that for them.
Okay. Very cool. So, quick question for you. I think we said this before we started recording, but where does the name come from? Dos Flores.
Well,
Designs.
We are the Flores family, Adam and Carissa Flores.
Okay.
And so, on a napkin at Bill's Cafe, we were workshopping some names, and it just sounded right. Dos Flores Designs.
Nice. I like it very much.
Adam's always said, as with our marriage, his goal is for us to do more together than we could do apart.
That's
awesome. So it was really important for us to have us. It started before this. I called it Carissa Joy Calligraphy because it's my name, and I kind of just came up with the first thing. But then we
You're like, wait a minute.
I was like, wait, what? I didn't even realize. Like, what a beautiful transition.
There you go.
What? Wow, I didn't know that, or I did know that, but just didn't put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a much more fitting name than just calligraphy or just me.
Yeah.
That's not what it is,
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we'll wrap up that conversation in just a minute, but before we do that, I want to tell you about Dale Hardware. Dale Hardware has been helping people make Fremont their home for over 65 years, and they are still doing that today. If you are working on any projects and you need materials, products, and if you need just a little bit of help, their employees are very knowledgeable in all the different parts of home care and everyday life needs that Dale Hardware provides. So if you're working on a project or if you just want to make a friend, head on over to Dale Hardware, and they'll be there to help you out. So I know that when you're starting a business, and quite honestly, as a teacher, your schedule is just consumed. And so with being an entrepreneur, being business owners, being teachers, being a voice actor, is there anything else that you guys actually just do in whatever 2 minutes of free time that you have? Like, are there any other hobbies that you enjoy? Or if you were to go on vacation, where's your dream vacation?
Wow. All right. There can be two answers for this question.
Okay. All right.
Because in our spare time, something that we started during the pandemic, right at the start of it, Carissa saw a Facebook post asking for signups to foster kittens through Ohlone Humane Society.
Whoa.
And at the time, we have one cat, and I was not particularly a cat person, but Carissa was like, come on, we're going to be home anyways. We're teaching from home.
I think I just signed us up. I don't think that I don't think I asked permission.
One of those ask for forgiveness.
And then suddenly the first kitten's in our house,
Right.
and then
That's
he falls
awesome.
in love.
Yeah,
and
right,
so it
right.
works
And that has
out.
been something that during kitten season, which is the spring, that is something that fills our home and our lives, and it's wonderful.
That's awesome.
We can do a whole nother episode about kitten fostering. I think everyone should do it. But so that's what that kind of fills in the gaps.
Okay.
In teaching the school year and in the
Great
business.
stress reliever.
Yeah.
Yes, it is equal parts. It's work, but the
Good
fun
therapy.
kind of work.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So
And then
yeah.
that's the first part, the kittens. And is there a second part to the answer? You said it was a vacation, or what was it?
Yeah, as far as vacation goes, one of the fun things about the teaching calligraphy business is that you can teach calligraphy anywhere.
That's true.
And so
Very nice.
Yeah. And so we've already we're building the habit of picking out a vacation and saying, okay, well, is there a coffee shop or is there a venue
I love
we
that.
could teach a quick calligraphy class at?
That's cool.
And kind of mix the two together. And kind of open us up to traveling a bit more.
Yeah.
Carissa mentioned her family's in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all haven't been to Utah, you should go to Utah. It is some of the most amazing landscapes in possibly the world. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
In the world.
It is.
So we love traveling and being out there in the big wide open spaces.
Our other criteria for where to travel is somewhere you can hang a hammock. That's
Oh,
our
yeah.
other big
Oh,
hobby.
you guys are hammock people. Then.
From the pandemic, we're
Okay.
hammock people.
Really? Wow.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you have? So what's your brand? Because there's like Kamek, there's Eno, there's like all different little. You guys have any particular? Or
The
is
Amazon one?
it Amazon?
The $20 hammock on
There you go.
Amazon, yeah,
There you go. So
does the job.
that's awesome. So as we're wrapping it up, what are I think we mentioned this a little bit. You like Devout. What are some other things in Fremont that you like? Where do you guys go when you just need a night to grab something or to do something together? Is there a place in Fremont that you like to hang out?
We're big breakfast people.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
there's breakfast there,
Yeah.
we are there.
Okay.
Bill's, Country Way, Skillets.
Nice.
We love breakfast.
That's
Going
awesome.
out to breakfast.
Honestly.
Almost more than we like going out at night, which is very uncool of us. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that as teachers, right? I think keeping the nights open is kind of a space that we like to to keep to
Good.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it feels better to go out in the morning when we
Okay.
normally would be, getting ready for school or something.
Yeah.
It feels good to go out and
I like
enjoy
that.
a luxurious breakfast.
I like that. That's good. That's good. It's a good way to start off your day.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to find out more about you, more about your business, and maybe get connected into some of the calligraphy classes, or take advantage of some of your the stuff that you have for sale, where can they find that?
Kind of our hub, we have two kind of hubs. One is our website, dosfloresdesigns.com, and then our Instagram is the same, dosfloresdesigns.com. And in the link in our bio, we have a place where you can sign up for our classes. We've got a couple calligraphy classes coming up at Hops and Beans in Irvington, and so there's links there for all of that. And we are on Instagram quite a bit. You can just reach out there and
Awesome.
and get connected. I love to connect with.
That's great.
people.
That's great. And I hope that I get to hear some voice acting in the near future. I think that'd be super cool. Maybe the next Pixar movie or something like that. Be awesome.
This year, you can come to any Fremont Christian home game
There you go.
and hear the voice of Fremont Christian Warriors.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, I'm hoping, and I'm not going to say too much too soon, but I'm hoping that there'll be some sort of a partnership here in the next couple months, so we'll be able to have some of your stuff here for sale, take advantage of your services right here. And I'm not going to talk too much about that yet because I don't have it all nailed down, but I'm excited about that. And so people can come, pay attention to it, and perhaps meet you guys in person and take advantage of
See
your
some live calligraphy.
live calligraphy. That'd be awesome. Very, very cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast. This is really, really cool. I think of you guys as being one of the primary Instagram presences. Is that a word?
Wow.
Yes, it is.
When I think about the people that I follow in Fremont, I think of you guys being very present all the time. So I'm excited to have you guys on the podcast. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
This is
thank you so much.
This is great.
You've been listening to the Fremont Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever it is that you listen so you don't miss an episode. And if you're so inclined, leave a kind review so that others can find the podcast. To stay connected with us, you can find links to our social media and other content at thefremontpodcast.com. This episode was hosted, edited, and produced by Ricky B. Music provided through Soundstripe.com. I'm Gary Williams. Join us next week on the Fremont Podcast.
Muggins Media.